good morning, good evening, and hello. Welcome to Mystic Moon's time with the heavens, time with the forces of energy between you, me, the earth, life. Just feel our vibrations for a moment. Feel them with such intensity that you can stand aside and just feel those thump, thump, thump of you and on others. Can you imagine the pulse going on of the whole world just quaking, breathing, living, hearts pumping, thoughts, the energy? Well, somehow, for some reason, that we have yet to really put a word to, this atmosphere of chaos, this atmosphere of nervous anticipation. In North America, and I'm broadcasting from the northeast part of the United States, high in the mountains. But sometimes I get good reception and sometimes I don't. It's snowing tonight. It's winter almost. It's still fall, but it's, just setting the it's cold, it's chilly. But the chill inside our minds, the stress level is high. Every time we have we can't seem in the United States to look at any part of the world without agitation, like putting arrows of conflict, arrows of gotcha. The latest gotcha is United States versus Venezuela. A lot of people in the United States probably don't even know where Venezuela is. Or maybe they do know, but that's it. And I would limit it just to the people in the United States, many people in the world. Well, first of all, United States Trump versus Venezuela's Maduro. I'm not used to saying the name because I think of the country more than the person. Lately, Venezuela's been hit with being the tail on the donkey. It's been the bullseye for all the problems that the United States can throw at another country. Trump says Venezuela is responsible for the drug usage, drug death, the criminal activity in the United States. Now, Venezuela is the size of a few states, the size of Texas, and you put New Mexico, maybe some of Arizona. Roughly, United States is about 9 million miles in space, length. Whereas Venezuela, this way, is about, let's just say, 1 million miles, almost 1 million miles in space. That's a big difference. But beyond all that difference, why is Trump, who always likes to make a deal, why is he going after Maduro and Venezuela? Now, he's saying drugs. And you could say the diplomatic or the educational way, the academic way would be to ask yourself, why does the United States people need drugs, need narcotics? Why are they taking drugs? Now, drugs are pretty much legal, well, at least some forms of drugs, marijuana, cannabis, whatever you want, pot, Mary Jane, whatever you want to call it. That's legal in a number of places. As well as you can get prescription drugs for uppers and downers and in-betweeners. And there is a big thing about mental health, which you can get prescriptions about how to stop twitching, how to cope, how to breathe, how to everything. And there's also, there's a pill or an injection for everything in the United States. And you almost have to ask yourself, why does American culture, US culture, and socioeconomic conditions promote narcotics? But of course, we're not dealing in academia. We're not dealing in social work. We're dealing with the Department of War. And what is the Department of War? What is war? We can have a conversation about that. War is acquisition, destruction of your property and someone else's. This pops out. New. Now. This now. Now. Now is a time of now. The United States is in deep trouble. Our infrastructure is lacking. Our cities are a mess. People are living in cardboard boxes. There's no job scene. Jobs are being replaced with software and robotics. So, I mean, the future right now is in the United States is not all that, let's use the old antique word, groovy. So, in other words, we can't expect a lot of sales, a lot of buying and selling going on. The money flow is getting stuck. Our dollar is being refused, things like that. Our economic situation sucks. And what does Venezuela have again, besides being labeled drug outpost, kingpin? It has oil. What does oil do? Oil does a lot of things. It's a commodity, right? And Trump has just recently said to Venezuela, don't fly, don't take a boat out, don't take a ship out, stay. Now, what do you do when you tell another country, do not move? What do you do? Let's see. What do you do? What do you do? First of all, he's telling fishermen, you can't go out there and fish. You can't eat fish. And you can't fly your groceries in. You can't do these things. You can't import, export. You have to stay still. You have to freeze in place. He's giving them lockdown. Right? He's giving them lockdown. And do you think they really like that? Do you think that they're happy with that? Now, who's going to tell you in your house that you can't go outside, you can't eat, you have to stay put because I say so? Now, Maduro has said that Trump is acting colonialistic, imperialistic, and a whole bunch of other istics. And Trump is saying, do what I say or else. Or forget about or else, I don't like your attitude. When I say something, jump. And you're supposed to say, how high? Now, that's okay for certain types of domestic relationships, provided we all jump and dance to a certain beat of the drum. But to tell another country and to pinpoint another country for your troubles, that is where it's sensitive and iffy. Now, you can't explain, like a North American thinks a certain way and a South American thinks another way. And Maduro has automatically said, hey, South American countries, North America is trying to pull us over, trying to corral us into their farm. They're trying to exploit us again. Of course, we have a history of exploitation, just like a lot of other European countries have had towards indigenous cultures. And correct me if I'm wrong, I do think that Maduro is also indigenous, part indigenous anyway. But who isn't these days, right? Who isn't? So that's neither here nor in the now. Let's see, do any of these, keep on messing, let's see. Do we get a feeling? Which one of these? Little or big? Let's take this one. Snake. Now we can take this as the year of the snake. Change. 2025. Whatever's going to happen now. Right now we have now snake. Right now, at this particular point, something is imminent. I would say something is imminent, considering we only have about 5 weeks left of the year. So it's now. Something's going to happen now. What's going to happen? How does it age? So they're talking right about now, which is kind of, what kind of deal do you think Maduro will do with Trump? Do you think he's going to stand aside not Italian, excuse me, that's that Latin machismo against, let's say, the colonialistic? There's right away you have the sides going. You have the sides. You have like bend the knee, and then you have a whole bunch of hot sauce, a bunch of like, how dare you treat us as though we're inferior because we speak a different language. We don't. English is not our native tongue. We speak Spanish. You see where I'm going with this? And then where the angle, and then Maduro is getting all the other South American countries, and they're, look at this imperialistic, throwing their culture over us. Now, we do know that drugs are imported from all over the world. And perhaps it isn't the inflow of the drugs, it's the fact that they can't be tariffed. Could that also be a state of like what's happening, the tariffs? It's not the drugs, because a lot of drugs, pharmaceuticals use a lot of these drugs, and they make it into prescription medicine. But we do know that there are gangsters at every millennium, every decade. There are countries that, the opium of the Afghanistan, the drugs of the mafia in the what was it, in the 70s, and before. And we know that a lot of things, the opium from everywhere. So it's not just, is drug just an excuse to hit the oil? Now that's what a lot of analysis are saying or thinking. Let's see. Cold and calculating. Let's take this moon. What does this moon say? Holding on to the old ways. So this is almost becoming a war of old versus new. BRICS versus NATO. Old versus new. Can the United States be hegemonic towards Latin America? In other words, are they just being old school? Is the United States shooting its foot with too many things? We have Ukraine, we have this, we have that, we have Somalia, we have Sudan, we have Nigeria, we have conflict in Africa, conflict in the Middle East, conflict in the Far East, China and Taiwan. Too many fires, and how much fuel have we have? How much can we ever have a time that we are let go? This is the question that Maduro is like hoping on. He's hoping that the United States is so far scratched that its people, his people, we have magic. He's thinking that the fact that he can bring other countries like Colombia, etc., into the fold of taking or making the United States. All the United States have to do is to bomb a few more innocent people. And I'm saying innocent people because we do perpetrate a legal system of bringing someone, accusing them of crime, and then the sentence. But now Trump is just freely just bombing any vessel and saying that's this, that's. I mean, how does he know? Does he have some kind of satellite? Does he see this? Does he see that? And of course, in a country, his country, in the United States, you can be smoking dope and doing things, cannabis, I'll put it cannabis, and it's okay. It's okay. You can say it's medical purposes, it's recreational purposes, it doesn't matter. So why should what is good for the gander is not good for the goose? Cheat. So this is almost like trying to cheat the system. Step up. How to get conflict going, how to get more discord, how to get more chaos going. And the magic of words, the magic of action, words. So let's just go for like a different type of like clue. Now, what's going to happen? Now, we do know we're having analytical Western, North American vibrations or think tanks versus an emotional Latin American frame of mind. Now, we can say that the United States, North America, is very doped up and oppressed and worrying about stability, economics, and things like that, which, of course, we've already mentioned would be conducive for narcotics being used. We don't know where the next shoe will fall off, as they say, and we don't know where the next buck is going to come in. And if we can believe that everything is fine, then everything is fine in the United States, and we're just having a little turmoil instead of an all-out collapse. That's another topic, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look rosy. And that's wishful thinking. And of course, everything begins with thoughts, but a lot more than just thinking in a militaristic way. Once we start the bombing, do you think that other countries of the world are going to say, hey, Venezuela now, today, who's next? Who is next? And then puffed up from whatever you do, I did that. We're having a lot of ego and not enough judicial circumstances. We are into a very volatile situation. Christmas is happening also in South America. We're going to have Christmas bombs for North America and South America. All right, what's going to happen? Let's see. How is Maduro's reaction to Trump? To Trump's aggression? To Trump's, hey, you can't get on a plane. You can't get on a boat. Sit still while we react and see what we will tell you what is good for you. We will manage you. You are no longer free people. You are guilty of bringing drugs into my country. Now, I'm very anti-drug. I'm all right. There's so much happening. To even astral project yourself in a drug state, booze state, stupid state is ridiculous. That's my point of view, personal point of view. But now we're contacting the energies of this situation. Now, there are times when things are just too much for a sector of people. And we all have at times been there and done that. A lot of us, to many different degrees. Even when you have a headache and you're popping something to take that headache away, instead of going to sleep or giving yourself having a massage done on it, your head. So there's or acupressure. There's many ways to deal with tension. There's many ways to deal with discovery. Discovery when you bomb somebody and you give them orders without providing all the evidence or being transparent with your evidence. That's different because you're having conjecture and you're having chaos. Magician. Now, we have magician. This is Maduro saying the magic. Didn't we have the magic card here? Magic. And for Maduro, it's his persuasion of solidarity with his fellow members of South America. That's his magic hand. What can you do when you're in a position when someone is bullying you? Someone is dictating you. They're bigger, they're stronger. Well, you stall for time, as much time. You give the act of compliance while you gather your friends, while you tell them, you use words that will make people, you will excite people. How are they going to have Trump, United States, in North America, tell South America what to do? Central America, South America. What does the United States have going for it to be so audacious? Instead of examining the reasons why the people of the United States feel the need for narcotics in the first place. That's not being addressed. It's like assuming and feeding into the table talk that United States people are dumb. United States people are ignorant. United States people are weak. United States people are plastic. Plastic. Not fantastic. Plastic. Plastic. Not real people. The United States people are so oppressed they need to be stoned, drugged up to get through their social economic situation. That's what all Maduro is going for. He's going for like the reasons why the United States is in trouble, and they're just simply the people won't work because there's no jobs, or the people won't work, there's no jobs because the people won't work. Whatever Maduro is feeding to the masses and to his fellow leaders of adjoining countries. He's saying something. He's not being quiet. He's not being turning tail and going, I'm so afraid. No, he's too macho. He's too macho for that. And look at this. We have the Five of Pentacles. Maduro, yes, it's the weight, it's the judgment. He's saying that, like, this United States wants to rob us blind. He wants to rob everyone that they can intimidate. It's almost as though Venezuela is making itself to be, it's a stand. The first stand or the last stand. Yes. He knows that if the United States bombs the blank out of them, that they will be in deep trouble. As well as he knows the United States is losing every day the things that were perceived to make the United States great. He knows that. Who doesn't? Humility is a beautiful virtue. It's not weak. But these two men, Maduro and Trump, are not humble men. They're puffed up. They're not into healing energy. It's like the first one wants the other to say, uncle, bend the knee. If you want to heal this situation, somebody has to bend the knee. Trump is saying, bend the knee. Maduro goes, I don't think so. He doesn't want to bend the knee. Because if he bends the knee, here comes all the U.S. businessmen, corporations to take over, like they have in the past. And then we have Empress energy. Well, I would also say that this is diplomacy. What kind of diplomat do you think that they will take the time to have diplomatic action? And what is duress? Duress is a word that you're forced to say something because the consequences are so dire. You're forced to say something. It doesn't mean you actually mean it. So what's going to happen? The situation is very, 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 very delicate. Very delicate. Very, very delicate. This could erupt into something so big because we have Ukraine winding down, more or less. It's never going to wind down, but winding, nobody's interested anymore. Besides, what are you going to wait for? The last Ukrainian male to evaporate, disappear from the face of the planet? Right? So, what's better a diversion than making another hotspot that the perceived enemies of the United States, China, Russia, Iran, etc., can make a base coming closer to the mainland, or just the fact that President Donald J. Trump wants to have a Nobel Prize, the man of peace. The man of peace who made the Department of Defense the Department of War. The United States is hell-bent on having war. It's looking for a candidate. Marjorie Taylor Greene said, as Trump said, hey, nobody flies, nobody sails. I'm the boss. Make sure you don't. And he's building up a military aggression around the country. Now she says only Congress has the right, according to the Constitution of the United States, to declare war. And why are we declaring war over a social, economic situation? And why are we starving Venezuelans of the fish in the sea to eat, to ship their groceries, fly their groceries? Everything is supposed to be drugs. Like, can you eat drugs? Yes, you can eat drugs, but is that going to get you enough energy? Is that nutrition? So you can see we're holding the country siege, the size of Texas and New Mexico and Arizona, a place that big. We're holding siege, like going off like the Crusades, holding siege, starving the masses out until they cry uncle. But this is different. This is different because you have different temperament, as you had it back then. I wasn't there, but you can imagine. So what is this situation? The situation is we're looking for someone to come and mediate the situation, this episode between the United States and Venezuela. Who is the mediator? This is between the Star card and the Empress, two major arcana. And here we have this. We have many forces. We have talking, acting out, and the poorhouse, or the loss of. And then we have mediation, the Star, and we have the Empress. Who is going to come? Is this okay, no. It seems that we're going to have might versus right. And we're in a situation like that right now. Now, who is going to who's going to mediate this situation? Is it going to be might or right? Who will diffuse this situation? Can it be diffused? What's this one? The Four of Pentacles. Well, it has to be someone who is either interested in peace above all, or someone, a meeting between Venezuela and the United States. Representatives of both. And what they have they're going to cut their, let's say, Trump is asking for a deal in a very aggressive manner. And how much is it costing the United States to have the Department of War go out there with all those men, all that equipment, to have siege around that country? Are we going to stop the use of drugs in this country? Not hardly. Not hardly. I mean, they have in this country, for those of you who do not live here, we have injection sites, legal places, open, well, there are tents or there are buildings where you can, if you're on hard drugs like heroin or cocaine or whatnots, you can go and have your dosage without fear. So this is the kind of mentality that we have in this country. Keep them drugged up, doped up, but happy. And then everybody's happy, happy, happy. These are false states. Ten of Swords. We took these two things here. We have had, what was the other card we just pulled? The Four of Wands. We did the Four of Wands, and we have the Ten of Swords. It's almost as though any negotiation between representatives is not going to have. It's just going to be like a pause for the other countries to pick sides. BRICS versus NATO, more or less. We have the Ten of Swords. Then we have the tension. I see right now in the short of it, we have a tension mounting. Just in time for the holidays, the Christmas holidays, the season of giving. Also in time for like the 3-eye Atlas satellite, aka probe, aka comet, and the R2 Swan, which is also circling our Earth, to come to another type of climax. We have intergalactic, and then we have intercontinental discord. Oh, chaos is just building. Chaos. Chaos is just building. So I see that right now we can see that Trump versus Venezuela, Maduro, is just going to escalate. More and more tension and useless negotiation. Just to have the sides build up. Doesn't look good. Ten of Swords. It doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. Why would it? We do know it's because of NATO. Every country, Germany's broke, France is broke, England is broke. They're broke. United States is broke. Even though we keep on, it's fine. When you're run by billionaires, trillionaires, they now have no concept of the different working class, middle class, poor class of people struggling just to be able to put a smile and a roof over their head. So we have a lot of disconnect. And that's a very strange type of paradox. Very strange situation. Whereas when you have the country of Venezuela, the people, when you know that you're not having food, you have a country civilization known for colonialistic hegemonic activity, warfare, hanging over your head, saying you can't do this and you can't do this and you must surrender. You must do things my way. Then you have more cohesion. Whereas here we have different diversions, different United States, dividing. Of course, if blood is shed on both sides, especially in North America and the United States, then you'll have a tightness of them and us. Because the propaganda through the airwaves, through communication devices will just be so ramped up. And that's where it's trying to go. to alleviate distraction against Epstein files, against Epstein files are more than just, again, satanic, underage pedophilia. It's more than that. It's much more than that. And we know it. And this is where they're trying to keep it quiet by having show after show after show after show after show, instead of remedying the remedy for our social economic situation, our culture, which makes the population demand narcotics. Demand narcotics. So we're having here a situation of the faint, the poverty, the absence of substance, the absence of a solution, the absence of a future. Depression. So we are depressed. United States people, besides being labeled as the stupidest in the world, we are depressed people, which is why the need for narcotics is so prevalent, which is why others come here and use this as supermarket, buy and sell. And how high on the food chain does this "it's okay" come? And how long are the fishermen of Venezuela are going to be hungry? They're fishermen. They go out into the sea. And how, in any type of society, no matter how bad it gets, there's always a group of people who a huge group of people, that have no interest in being sloshed, being stoned. And to assume that everyone who takes a rowboat, a yacht, a sailboat, is dealing narcotics to the masses of the United States, that's sad. That's ridiculous. That's nuts. It's nuts. It's pathetic. It's aching for war. So we'll see. But right now I can see that the two men are hot-headed, animate, each looking at things from only their perspective. And Trump is telling Maduro to bend the knee. Maduro is going like, hell, I will. And he's gathering his forces. So this is a showdown. And this is a very, very, very powder cake, explosive situation. There are no winners in this, but there's an extreme amount of bad tidings. Bad tidings. Do you think that you can't fight your way out of a balloon? And you can't eat air. People have got to eat. And Trump is saying if you want to eat, you bend the knee. Now, what do you think the Latinos will do with that type of ultimatum? What would you do if someone said, bend your knees to me? This is Madeira's trump card. To use a trump card. He's counting on the machismo-ness of the Latin males, Latin culture, to protest. More than protest, to get organized. So this could have a very, 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 very unplanned outcome. I could leave it as that, but right now we can see that we're going to have a stalemate going. We're going to have, it's going to get a lot more funky before it has a resolution. And it's going to require the United States not just say mental health issues and give prescription drugs. Now, again, we go drugs. We need to have talk among ourselves. And of course, we aren't pushing the buttons, but We're going to stand and just allow more and more our infrastructure is falling apart. Our youth are becoming helplessly depressed. This world is a mess. It doesn't have to be a mess at all. It doesn't have to be a mess. And that's one thing. The days of old are the days of old. Old thinking is old thinking. And when you are physically aged and you profess and you stay in the old days, vintage movies, things have changed. I mean, things don't change and they do change. And that's what a wise person can see the difference, and respects that difference. Well, we'll leave it as that for right now. If you have any comment, what do you think? You think it's boiling, the kettle's boiling, the water's boiling. And like the lobsters and the crabs that are being served and being dumped into the boiling water and the frogs, here we go. Here we go. Thank you for listening, and comments, please. Until the next time, Mystic Moons is out. Bye-bye.